right, so this is just going to be a video of me doing the review. So if you want to, hopefully it doesn't take too long, but if you want to just jump ahead to whatever portions you need, that would be good. So when it says use the limit definition, so that definition is f of x plus h minus f of x all over h as the limit of h approaches 0. So all I'm going to really do to figure that out is substitute x plus h into the f function. So to find f of x plus h, I substitute x, which represents the input, with the input that I want, which is x plus h. And so we've got 10x plus 10h plus 5. And I'm going to take away the original function, which was 10x plus 5. So remember to distribute that minus sign, so that basically leaves me a negative 10x minus 5 all over h. And again, remember the limit as h approaches 0 is really what you're doing. The 10x's produces 0. The 5's produces 0. You've got 10h over h, which reduces to 10. And since there is no h in there, that will be our limit. So, and that makes a lot of sense because remember what the limit is, or the derivative is the slope of the line at any point. And so the slope of this line at any point is obviously going to be 10 because it's a line. Okay, so moving on to the same setup, f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Same thing, I'm going to replace x with x plus h, and so everywhere I see x, I'm going to substitute x plus h. Distribute that pretty easily. X plus h squared leaves you this. Then I'm going to distribute. So if that takes you a little bit of time, or if you want to do some work on the side to get your answer, we've got that. That's what you get when you substitute x plus h into the original f function. And then what I'm going to do is take away the original function all over h. And again, remember to distribute this. So I could write another step, but then I think it's going to get lengthy. So I'm just going to remember to do a minus sign. So minus 2x squared here, minus 7x, and then a plus 6 here, because if I distribute that minus sign, it's going to change the sign of all of those. So, okay, that was not helpful. That's what I wanted to do. So negative 2x squared, positive 7x minus 6, and then hopefully some things cancel out. So 1, then we've got the 7x's disappearing. Oh, oopsie daisy. That was supposed to be plus 6. Or plus 6. Okay, so that was canceled out as well. So then we've got 4xh plus 2h squared plus 7h over h. I'm going to factor that h out. Divided by h, cancel those out. And remember the limit as h approaches 0, which basically means that 2h here turns into nothing, which leaves me 4x plus 7. Now, if I did everything right, I should be able to take the shortcut that I just used, or that I've been using throughout the entire unit, and I should be able to get that as my answer. So let's hopefully get that answer. 2 times 2 is 4x plus 7, and that is what I got. So lucky me. Okay, so now doing the derivatives with some rules and some shortcuts. So the derivative of a constant is nothing. So that's just a fact. What you really have here, actually, I'll just skip along so that I don't give you too much context. All right, so remembering our rule is to take the exponent, multiply it by the coefficient, decrease by 1, so subtract 1, negative 7. There's a 1 here. 1 times 7 is negative 7. X to the first turns into x to the 0, which means basically no x's. And the only thing I have to fix here is that I don't like negative exponents. So negative exponents, we can just create a fraction, and that negative exponent will become positive if we just move the x downstairs. And so there's your answer. I'll move that minus 7 to the side just so that it, okay, now my iPad just fell over. Minus 7. That looks weird too. All right, that looks somewhat better. I still don't like the look of it, but we'll move on. Okay, so same exact thing here. My iPad's doing weird things. Cover it. How do people write on these things? Okay, here we go. Red, I'll just switch to red. A bold color for this problem. Same exact thing. Take the degree, multiply by the number out front, subtract 1. This is minus 1. 2 over 2 is the same thing as 1. So we've got 3 halves. I'll address that later. Another fraction. Uh-oh. 3 halves times 3. I don't remember what to do. No problem. I'll just show you on the side. 3 times 3 halves. 3 is the same thing as 3 over 1 times 3 halves. Multiply across. That's 9 over 2. 9 over 2 with a minus sign. X. Take away 1. So I'm going to take away 2 over 2. 1/2. See? It's fine. It's all fine. 1/2 times 4 is 2x to the negative 1/2. Okay, so first thing I'm going to fix is the negative 1/2. Ta-da. And then now I want to fix all the rational, aka fractional exponents and adjust them and turn them into their roots. So 5 halves, x, teeny tiny 2. The index always goes here, and the exponent is always here. Negative 9 halves, square root, x, teeny tiny 2 is the index. 1 goes here, and then I already fixed the fractional exponent, but I'm going to address I already addressed the negative exponent. Again, the denominator always goes in the index, and the 1 always goes with the exponent. So that's the final answer for this one. I wonder if I can cut it out just a little bit to make it a little more obvious that it's separate. There you go. So there's your answer in the box. This video will be 45 minutes long. Okay. So there's lots of ways to do question D. You can think about it as a fraction, or another nice way to think about this might be to do something like this, is rewrite this one as a fractional exponent. Index always goes in the denominator, exponent always goes in the numerator, and I'm going to adjust this and make it negative by bringing this up to the top. So if I bring this from the top, or from the bottom upstairs here, then it switches from positive to negative, and I've got this situation going on, which actually is nice because then I can take this, multiply it by this. So 8 times negative 5/4, 8 over 1, 5 over 4. 8 times 5 is 40, 40 over 4, I forgot a minus sign. 40 over 4 is 10 with a minus sign, so really this is negative 10x, and I'm going to subtract again minus 1. So again, minus 1 would be like minus 4/4. So negative 9/4. And again, I'll fix that. Keep negative 10 on top. Move x to the 9/4 downstairs where it's positive. And then rewrite it as the 4th root of x to the 9th over negative 10. And that's my final answer. And there's other ways to do this one. You could do the quotient rule or whatever, but that's just one way to approach the problem. All right, so here we go. I'm going to just highlight just because I think it's easier. We'll do Syracuse colors here. We'll do orange and blue. It's U of I colors too, I think, actually. Okay, so keep one the same. Do the derivative of the other one. So I'm just going to keep orange the same. So I'm going to keep orange the same. If I keep orange the same, I'm going to take the derivative of the blue. So the derivative of the blue is 5 plus 18x squared. Exponent is 1. 1 times 5 is 5. X decreased by 1, so x to the 0, no x's. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 minus 1 is 2. And then always a plus sign. And then I asked myself, okay, what did I do here? Here, I kept the first one the same. So now I'm going to keep the second one the same. And then I will take the derivative of the orange. So the derivative of negative 3x is negative 3. And then I'm just going to combine my distribute and combine like terms. So we've got negative 15x. What is that? Negative 54x to the third minus another 15x minus 18x cubed. And if I really want to be fancy, I guess I could combine my like terms. So 54 minus 80 is 64, 74, 72. So negative 72x cubed minus 30x. So, ta-da! I did it. I am proud of myself. So again, the key here is pick one of the two, keep one the same, do the derivative of the other one, and then do the exact opposite in the next setup. Then could distribute, combine like terms, blah, 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 get your answer. Okay, I like this question a lot. I think it's really important. So this is sort of the meat of the entire, like this is sort of the main story of the whole thing, right? Like this, oops, sorry, there's really weird stuff on my iPad. It's making me go all over the place. Okay, this is really the kind of main point. So it says find the equation. Did you just hear that? My kids are fighting. The small one probably bit the other one. Okay, so here's your function. That's a parabola. The parabola could look crazy or it could look pretty clean. Let's just assume that it looks something like, I don't know, like this. If your parabola looks something like this, there's a tangent of that parabola at every single point. All the slopes are different, and that's what the derivative gives us. It gives us the slope at every point. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to find the derivative by taking my shortcut, 4x plus 7. This shortcut's very nice. Okay? And then it says at x equals 1. So I think I'm supposed to use that 1 here. Kids, jeez Louise. 4 times 1 plus 7 is, I think, 11, and that's the slope. So when you do your fancy slope formula shortcut, you get a generic answer. You need to, I can't think. Then you need, I can't wait for this video to go up on YouTube. I'm going to embarrass my kids 15 years from now. I'll be like, look how annoying you are. X equals 1. This is the generic slope. Then you take this answer and substitute it into here, and that gets you slope at this actual point. But if I need the equation of a tangent line, I need an equation of a line. In order to write the equation of a line, I need more information other than the slope. The slope is just how the line is tilted, but I can write lots of lines with the same tilt. You know, those are all the same slant, all the same slope, but they're all different positions. And that's where the point comes in. So the point that I'm looking for is obviously like an ordered pair. So 1 from the given, and then I'm going to substitute 1 in here, and that's going to get me my y coordinate. Well, why'd you do it in this one, not this one? Because again, I'm looking for the equation of the point on this parabola. I'm trying to find the slant right here. And so that point needs to be on the parabola. So I can't be using this equation, which is the slope of the tangent line, because I need that point to be on the parabola. So if I need the point to be on the parabola, I need to use the parabolic equation. Sort of makes sense. All right, and now we move on to the equation. Y goes with y. The slope is 11. X goes with x. Change the sign. So y goes with y. X goes with x. Change the signs. And then the slope in front. Really important problem that kind of carries every little piece of like important concept in it. Okay, so going through most of them, I think I've got them all done almost. And so this one again is pretty straightforward. Some sort of astronauts throwing stuff on the moon. Good for you. And gives me an equation. That's probably important. Fractions. Why did I do that to myself? I wanted to do that to you, but here I am making a video. Find the expression for velocity and acceleration. Fine. Velocity is take the derivative of this. So I'm going to multiply 27 over 10 times 2. So that's 2/10 reduces to 1/5. So 27/5. Oh my God, they turned on Christmas crap. We have all these like decorations in my house, and I think they're turning all of them on, and they're from like 1994, and they sound like the batteries are dying. Okay, let me just double check that. What did I just do? Should we do Desmos? Yes, thank you, Desmos. So 27, I hope you can see that on my screen. 27 over 10 times 2, which is 5.4 and 27 fifths. Look at that, I nailed it. T to the first power plus 27. So there you go. That's my velocity. Probably should have, let me move this over a little bit so that we can see that this is the velocity function. Acceleration is just the derivative of that one more time. So again, we're going to take the exponent here, which is 1. So multiply that together. So negative 27 fifths. And that's it. The velocity of this is 0. And so the acceleration is this. The velocity is this. Go me. And then now it says use the velocity and the acceleration of the rock at 10 seconds. Normally, we would just take the 10 seconds and plug it into here and here, except there's nothing to substitute. So the acceleration at 10 seconds is 27 fifths. There's nothing variable about that. It is what it is. For this one, I am going to substitute 10 in there because I can. And again, probably could use some decimal shortcuts just because I want to get this to be a decimal answer. So 27 divided by 5 with a minus in front times 10 plus 2. And you've got negative 52. So negative 52, what's it measured in? Feet per second. So feet per second. And this is feet per second squared. Okay, so short story, take the derivative, get an answer, plug it in if you can. Sometimes there's a variable left over and sometimes there's not. If there's not, then there's obviously nothing to substitute. Find the displacement for the rock from 0 to 10 seconds, no problem. That's positional. So basically plug in 0, so find whatever variable I'm using there, s. So find s of 0, get an answer. Find s of 10, get an answer. And whatever those are, we just subtract them out. So if I substitute 0 in for the equation, I don't think I have to do this whole thing, but I think you get it. Replace all the t's with 0. I think I said x's, but you know, obviously x and t are sort of interchangeable. I'm talking about the letter that's over here on this side. Replace all of them with zeros, and you get 6 at the very end. This one I'm going to replace, thank God I have Desmos right here. Then I'm going to replace the equation, so now 27 over 10, parenthesis, 10 squared, plus 27, I know that's 270, I just, voila, is 6. Let's double check that I did that right, so replace t with 10, 10, 6, perfect. Right, awesome. So the displacement then is the difference between the two. So 6 minus 6 is 0. So the displacement, is 0. So what that basically means is that they ended up right where they started. The displacement position is 0, which makes sense, people. The rock is thrown into the air. Where will the rock land? The beginning and the end, the rock should land in the same spot. The displacement of the height is 0. That makes a lot of sense. So, ta-da. Hopefully that really helped. I really don't want to make another video. I bet you're going to make me want to make another video. We'll see. Hope you liked it. Hope it's helpful. Hope you watch it before tomorrow morning.